Hey everyone, so we're going to dive into Cardano today and do an update because the targets that we had back up here telling you to sell and not buy into Cardano at $1.50 and $2 proved to be right.
And it turns out I was right.
Now, if you haven't seen my Cardano video or any of my other altcoin videos, I think they have hit the nail absolutely on the head on pretty much all of the price targets. So please do go back and have a look through my videos. Follow people who have a history of being right. So in terms of what we'll look at today as well, we'll look at some short-term and long-term price action where we can look at some potential buy zones for Cardano and maybe what we can expect from current levels. So we spoke about, getting out the potential bounce from about 70 to about 75 cents, which is exactly what we got. And then we basically got our move down into this order block that we spoke about, okay? Perfectly hitting the price target of 40 cents that we had. And then what are we seeing at this 40 cent level? We are seeing buyers step in, okay, for the reasons that they should be stepping in, which is basically trading the chart and not trading on emotion just because Luna's going down and everyone thinks that the cryptocurrency market is completely dead. Not the case. This is the area that we consolidated before our last parabolic move to the upside. We're currently retesting this region. You can see that buyers are stepping in here at that 40 cent region. And, we are getting some buy pressure up to about that 50, 60 cent area. So I am expecting the bulls to defend this area. Now, we might see, some patterns over here that might be bottoming patterns, which we want to look out for because in the short term, if we start to get some sort of descending wedges or inverted head and shoulders or, basically like a lot of low volume selling, then I would expect this to give us a little bit of a platform to move back to the upside and maybe test some of these key levels at around that 80 cent 70 cent level. I'm not sure that we can potentially get above, that $1.22 level. I think that might be a little bit too much to ask if we get some sort of bear market rally, because remember, we are in a bear market. But another reason that I suggest that we might see a bounce pretty soon is that Bitcoin has hit some of my targets that I've spoken about at about that mid 20 level, mid $20,000 level price targets, and I am expecting Bitcoin to have a bit of a bounce, and because of the altcoins have been absolutely smashed, I'm expecting that as well. And if you look at typically where have we fallen at the minute, we've had a sheer straight 70% drop down to this order block. So that's why, like I said, you don't want to be selling into capitulation here. And previously, when we've seen 70% declines every single time on Cardano, as with many other coins, okay, you can see that every single sheer drop, and this one's been even quicker than the ones in the previous bear markets where volatility was arguably higher, okay. I'm expecting a bounce from here because even if we don't necessarily, end up going to new highs from this level, which I don't think we will, there might still be potential upside of, dropping 70%. If you gain back 70%, that puts you at about, like I said, that 70 cent mark, and maybe start to re-challenge this kind of local area of 75 cents. So that's my thinking of what might happen in the short term. If we just get out our low volume areas that we like to speak about, you can see that we've again hit this first block over here at about 40 cent in confluence with the area that we broke out from, and we've got the last area of low volume to potentially tap into is maybe an ultimate low. For me, is going to be somewhere around that sort of 20 cent mark, which is basically this order block over here for Cardano. So definitely those are some areas that we want to be looking out for. My base case for Cardano from current prices would be something like this, where we maybe come back up. Potentially you should be, in the bias that we're going to continue this downtrend that we've been in until we aren't, okay, until we start to create some sort of higher high. But maybe we retest that area, chop around for a bit, and maybe fall back down into the most obvious order block over here. And I think that these current prices will probably be the start of the accumulation period, where the altcoins might still have a little bit more to go, and it doesn't matter though if you buy in at like 40 cent, 30 cent, 20 cent, 15 cent, whatever it is. You know, if your price targets are $5 and $10, it doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that you're accumulating when it is time, and that's probably around this moment. So I'm expecting the market to chop around something like this, okay, with some volatility of course in between, and then potentially get that big move to the upside for Cardano whenever we kick off the next bull market. But really important to know that this is the most important time in crypto and where you make all of the gains. As you're about halfway through the video, if you want to continue following my journey with altcoins and you want me to pump out more videos, because I'm trying to get out as many as I can, especially in these times of high volatility, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon below so that you get notified of all my videos. And don't forget, of course, to like my video. That massively helps me out. So without further ado, let's crack on. What is interesting to note here is that if Bitcoin does end up making a further 30 to 40 to 50% even decline down to the lows of, like, you know, say 20,000 or even 14,000, okay, that would put a decline of ADA potentially, like, you know, another sort of 50%, right? But if we also take a look at the ADA Bitcoin chart, you can see that the next area of you know, a Cardano accumulation to potentially kick off another move is going to be somewhere here in this order block, okay, which is the previous accumulation period that we're currently just tapping into before we basically moved on to those you know, new all-time highs about a year ago. So we've definitely got some areas, key areas over here sat wise at about, you know, 1,000 sats and at about 1,600 sats. So if we were to move down any further into some of these order blocks and, you know, altcoins continue to decline in the year, I did want to make you aware that that might be a potential 40 to 50% further decline in Cardano, which would put us pretty nicely actually into this this range over here. You see another 40% here. You know, obviously it's going to be a little bit dynamic with the price of Bitcoin and what that's doing, but again, that puts you roughly in and around ballpark, okay, this big sort of you know, price action happening over here between about 10 cents and 20 cents. So potentially an ultimate low may occur over here, and maybe it does something like this and we end up, you know, forming one last bottom towards the back end of the year if the 4-year cycle is anything to go by for crypto. So just so these are the key areas that I'm looking out for, and the only way that I can see Cardano doing anything, you know, anything significant is you'd have to take out these highs at about, you know, $1.22, which we are nowhere near from yet. Although I do think, like I said, we'll probably bounce from this area. And if we don't, then I think that we'll either chop around here or we'll, you know, I don't see us going any lower than about 17, 18, 20 cent over here. And a quick word on Cardano Ethereum. You can see that we're moving towards the bottom of the range for Cardano. So from a chart point of view, although we might slide a little bit and chop around over here for Cardano versus Ethereum, okay, I do expect us to basically range sideways here in a similar way that we have done previously, okay, whether that's towards the bottom end of this range or somewhere in the middle. I'm not expecting Cardano to completely capitulate, but you know, there might be some further downside for ADA ETH of about 10, 15, 20%, but maybe not much more than that. If we break these lows, it's anyone's guess how far Cardano can go, but that is not my primary scenario for Cardano. If you found this content useful and you got some value and you want to follow my journey of making money in this bear market from someone who's been in the market for, you know, about 5 years and experienced all this sort of stuff before, basically go ahead and like, subscribe down below and hit the bell notification to keep up to date with videos, because I'm trying to cover as many altcoins in this bear market because it's a really, really important time to be covering this sort of stuff in my opinion. So until the next video, I'll catch you next time.